Hi everybody, Katie here from the Beverly Public Library, except we're not at the Beverly Public Library. We are once again in the quarantine kitchen. Now folks, I don't know about you, but when the stores ran out of flour, I started to experience a deep-seated anxiety. And when I experience such anxiety, there's only one real thing that can relieve it, and that is a level of chocolate bordering on the absurd. And that is why we're venturing back into the quarantine kitchen today. I am going to show you how to make an Oreo mousse pie. And one of the great things about this is that it doesn't call for flour. Yay! Also, you don't need to bake this, so this would be a great summer recipe for when you don't want to turn your oven on. Okay, so there are three components to the pie. There is the crust, there is the mousse, and there is whipped cream that goes on top. Now, if you want to get a pre-made Oreo crust at the store, you're welcome to do that. Also, if you want to get pre-made whipped cream at the store to go on top, you can also do that. I'm going to show you how to make all three components, starting with the crust. So, you are going to you're going to take a pie pan, get the dog hair out of it, and then you are going to butter it. Or use, margarine or Crisco or whatever, just, grease it up. Set that aside for now. Now, you're going to take some Oreos and you are going to crush them up into crumbs. You can use a food processor if you've got one. You can use a blender. You can put them into a plastic bag and take out whatever's going on with your week and just pound them into a fine crumble. But you're going to crumble up approximately 30 of them. But it really all depends on how thick you want the crust to be. So these are about 30-ish Oreos crushed up. To that, you are going to take some butter, you're going to melt it down, or margarine, you do you. This is one stick. I may not use all of this, so we're going to get our hands dirty, because that's my favorite thing to do around here. And you're just going to drizzle some in, and then kind of stir it around with your fingers. And what you want, you don't want it to be sopping wet, but you do want it to be so that when you pack it, it doesn't immediately fall apart. Adjust the butter content to whatever you think would be best. But this is looking perfect. So folks, 30 Oreos, 1 stick of butter, that's your ratio, because this is looking awesome. Okay, so what does looking awesome look like, you're asking? Well, wonder no more. This is what it looks like. It is kind of glistening like potting soil? Sure, like potting soil. And now you are going to grab your pie pan and you're just gonna plop it in there. And I love myself a thick Oreo crust. So you are pressing down on this firmly with your bare hands, which you have washed thoroughly with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. And also, as we all know, if you are feeling sick, say it with me, folks, you should not be preparing food for other people. You should be in bed getting better. I have washed my hands thoroughly and I'm feeling a-okay, so we're just going to keep going. All right, so now I've covered the bottom of the pie plate and I want the crust to go up the sides. So what you can do is you can just, like a mason, you can pack it on like this, but I actually find that to be a little frustrating. So what I actually do is I kind of push out from the center. So I'm creating a gap here in the center. And I'm using what I've already created and packed down so well on the bottom to push up, can you see that? To push up the sides. I am pushing up from the bottom all around the sides. And it's just looking fantastic. You're doing a great job. I'm so proud of you. And I hope you're proud of yourself too, because you know what? You're staying home, you're doing your part, you're contributing, but just because you are staying home and doing your part and contributing to flattening the curve and all of that super important stuff doesn't mean that you don't need chocolate. I'm adding them to the center where I've created that gap, and then once I've pressed them down, I'm pressing out to the sides. Like I said, make this as thick or as thin as you want. I love a very, very thick Oreo crust. So I'm not being shy here. Plus, you know, there's kind of a lot left over, so you could do what I may do, and after the camera stops rolling, just eat it with a spoon. And this is how it looks. And what you're gonna do when you're happy with your crust, you are going to put it in the refrigerator. This is done. It's gonna go in the fridge, and I'll see you for the next step. We have completed the crust. It is chilling in our fridge, and we are ready to move on to step 2 of the Oreo mousse pie, which is the chocolate mousse. Now, the first step to making the chocolate mousse is making some whipped cream. If you have a stand mixer, that's awesome. You can 100% do this with a hand mixer. It's just gonna take a little longer. If you feel like you wanna make it by hand with a whisk and a bowl, good luck to you. But otherwise, I'm gonna be using a stand mixer because I'm lucky enough to have one. Regardless of whether you're using a stand mixer or a hand mixer, you are going to use the fastest setting to make this. So we're gonna get started. You will need about 2 cups of heavy cream. This is 4 cups, so I'm gonna guesstimate. This is not exact. We're gonna be bold and brave, like I know you are. So we're just gonna add some. We're gonna do, you know, like 7 glugs. Maybe like 8 or 9 glugs. That's good. I think that's about half. So you just have heavy cream in here, and you are going to turn on your mixer to its highest setting. And once it starts to look less like a liquid and look more like a foam, you're gonna add some sugar and some vanilla. But I'm not gonna make you sit here and listen to this. So we'll come back when we've been mixing for a while and we're ready to add more stuff. All right, so we're mixing. It's looking fabulous. You're doing a great job. No matter what kind of device you're using, you're being fantastic. And as you might be able to see, the path of the whisk is starting to remain for a few minutes in this. So we are ready. I'm gonna stop it so you can see. When you lift it out, it's not liquid anymore. So okay, you're gonna get your sugar ready. How much sugar? However much you want, my friend. One thing I'll say is that you want the lid on your sugar and you want the lid on your vanilla off, because once you add the sugar, it's going to thicken up considerably, and it's going to be like nearly done by the time you add your sugar. So you're gonna add your sugar, and then if you're not sure you're happy with the level of sugar you added, just turn the thingy off and taste it. And if you're happy with that, you've added enough sugar. You don't even worry about it. This is not too hard. You can do this. I believe in you. All right, we're gonna turn it back on. Ready? You're ready. All right. So it's starting to hold its shape. It's turning into cream. We're adding some sugar. And see how it's holding its shape so beautifully now? I'm gonna turn it off. Actually, wait, no. I'm gonna turn it back on and add my vanilla because I wanna taste the final product. I'm gonna add some vanilla. That looks good. I'm gonna turn it off. And that's whipped cream. It's holding its shape. I'm gonna taste it. My hands are clean. looks really good. I'm deciding whether I want it to be a little sweeter. No, I like the delicate sweetness of this. To just stick this in the refrigerator and we'll come back to it when we're ready. And we'll see you for the next step of the mousse. We're ready to make the second component of the mousse. And so you are going to come over to your stove for this part. I'm using a double boiler. If you happen to have a pot that's a little larger than a smaller pot, you can create your own double boiler, but basically bottom pot has some water in it. Top pot is going to have your ingredients on it, and it's going to heat it more gently than if it were directly on the element. You're going to take a cup and a half of marshmallows and you're going to put it in your pot. And to that, you are going to add, carefully, I spilled it, a third of a cup of milk. Now, this is the boring part, so, you know, you might want to have like a book nearby or something. You're going to turn your element on, turn it to its lowest setting, and my friends, I regret to say this, but you are going to stand here and you are going to stir constantly until the marshmallows are completely melted. It's gonna take a while, I'm so sorry, but it'll be worth it. I'm not gonna stand here, I'm not gonna make you stand here and watch me stir this pot of marshmallows around for like 20 minutes. So we'll come back when these are all melted down. All right, my friends, it has been, for your reference, about 15 minutes, and it is now melted down, and this is what it looks like. It's melted down, it's been about 15 minutes. Now we're ready to add the next ingredient, which is Hershey Kisses. If you can believe it, this is about 40 Hershey Kisses. It looks so small, and yet it has such a big impact. You can use the milk chocolate ones. I like a really chocolatey mousse, so I'm using the dark chocolate. And once this is all melted down, you're just gonna throw them in there, and you're gonna stir until they melt down. You don't want to let the chocolate burn, so be scraping your spoon along the bottom of your pot to just keep it moving, you know? Keep things moving, keep things from sticking, keep them from burning. And you're gonna just do this until the chocolate's completely melted down and incorporated. But what I would recommend doing is either filling up your sink or filling up a large bowl with cold water. Because what you're gonna wanna do, what we're gonna do is we're going to, when this is all melted down, we're going to fold the whipped cream that you made, you did such a good job, we're gonna fold that into this chocolate. But we don't want to melt the whipped cream back down into milk, and so we're going to cool this down, submerging the bottom of the pan, of the pot, in some cold water. So I will show you what that looks like when we come back. All right, so we are all melted down, and this is what it looks like. It's gorgeous, and I'm just going to dip this into this bowl of water. And I'm just going to keep stirring it. This is just to get the worst of the heat off. Continuing to stir. It looks so good, you guys. You should be so proud. You're doing such an amazing job. And let's see. Are we happy? We're going to let it go a little more. We're happy. All right, so you can set your bowl aside. And what you're gonna do is you are going to get your whipped cream out that you made that looks so good. You're gonna need a soft spatula, and you are going to fold the chocolate into the whipped cream. You're not going to do it all at once. You're going to do it gradually. So I'd say, I don't know, maybe like a third. It's not an exact science. So you're just going to drizzle this in. That looks good. Set it aside. And you're going to fold this in. Now, what exactly is folding? we are incorporating ingredients, at least one of which has had a great deal of air whipped into it. And we want to preserve the light, airy texture. So we're not gonna bear down on it. So you're going around the outside, kind of cutting through the middle. You're keeping stuff off the bottom of your dish by kind of scooping it up and just kind of, you're folding. All right, so we're ready for more chocolate. Most of it's in there now. This is starting to look so tasty. Ah, it's so good. And it's gonna look like it's gonna be streaky forever, but it's not gonna be streaky forever. You know what? This too shall pass. So you're gonna keep folding, and we're gonna add the last of the chocolate. It just smells so good. Look at that. Look at that. You should be so proud of the job you're doing making this mousse. Okay. That's about good. You should leave some because you deserve to eat that with a spoon when you're done. So, you know, leave a little bit. Set it aside. And you're gonna finish folding this in. It smells so good. It looks so good. I'll give you another glance at it. You're just continuing to fold. You're doing so well. And as you could probably see from that latest shot, we're almost there. There's still some swirls, but variety is the spice of life. I'm gonna fold a little bit longer, but I'm pretty happy with where this is at. All right, so that is what it looks like. Do yourself a favor. Your hands are clean, right? Your hands are clean. You washed them for 20 seconds. You're gonna dip your finger in. We did a good job. We have fetched our crust. Look how good it looks. And you're ready to add the mousse to the center. How do you do that? You just glug it in. You don't have to be shy about it. Oh, look at that. It looks so good. Now sometimes, depending on the size of your pie pan, depending on like how many kisses you used, you might have a little extra mousse. And if you do, you just have to eat it because it's not going to fit in your pie pan. And I'm sorry, but you know what? You've earned it. So I think you should just get a spoon and eat whatever's left over because this is hard work. You worked very hard making this pie. Now you're just going to take your spatula and smooth it around until it's relatively smooth on top. And then you're gonna put this back in the refrigerator. You don't need to cook anything. You're just gonna put this in the refrigerator to chill. We are ready to do the most fun part of this, which is decorate it. I've made a fresh batch of whipped cream. You are welcome to do that, or you're welcome to get whipped cream you get from the store. We are going to start by piping some whipped cream onto this puppy. If you have piping bags, that's awesome. If you don't, you could use like a Ziploc bag and just cut the corner off. And if you don't have that either, just dollop it on. It'll still look amazing. It'll have a rustic look to it, and that'll be awesome too. Now, filling the piping bag. So the first thing you're going to want to do, you are going to want to get your tip if you have one. If not, that's fine. Toss your tip down in there. Now, get your decorating tip down at the bottom if you're going to use one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to clip a little less than you think you need. And then if that's not enough, you're gonna clip, it's better to cut it gradually and have to cut several times than to cut too wide and suddenly your tip falls out the bottom of your bag. Yes, this is perfect. I've got the tip poking out the end of the bag. Next, you're going to roll down the edges a little bit. And your hands are clean. You're gonna stick your hand down and kind of open it up a little bit. So you're gonna have something like this. Spatula, get a glog of whipped cream, put it in the bag, and then against your thumb, smooth it off. So easy, right? Right. You're gonna do that again. Now, I have a word of advice for you. Don't fill it up all the way. You're gonna shake it to encourage it down there. We're gonna do one more scoop. Push it down, encourage it to go towards the bottom. Now, we've still got several inches of room here, but you don't want to fill it up anymore because otherwise when you go to twist it, it's gonna be all in your face, which you may enjoy. That can be very tasty, but we're doing this on camera, so we want this to look a little bit more presentable. So you're gonna see, this is why you folded it down. You've got a nice, clean handle now to work with. And you are going to gather it up like this, pinch above the cream, and then, actually, you know what? Little tip. Do this over your bowl. Twist, and very gently, you're gonna squeeze this out by twisting. And do this over the bowl, not over your pie. Twist until it comes out. Oh, it looks so good. Okay, now we're happy. And now you're gonna decorate it however you want. You wanna do a peace sign, you wanna do a smiley face, you wanna do a lovely forest scene of whipped cream. Whipped cream? Yeah, for some reason I thought I said cream cheese just now. Whipped cream trees, you do it. I'm just gonna do a little piped border. So you're gonna start by putting your tip, you're gonna hover it right above the pie, twist, and then push down, stop squeezing out, push down, and come up, and you're gonna get a nice little glog. You're gonna do that all the way around. Don't worry, you're doing such a good job. This pie is a masterpiece. Okay, now I think I'm gonna do a little something in the center because it looks like you could use something in the center. So I'm gonna do the same old thing, just a little circle right in the center. I'm gonna fill it in because that's not exactly symmetrical. So that looks great. All right, I'm happy with that level of whipped cream. I have a ton of whipped cream left over. I'm gonna have a lot of fun eating that with a spoon afterwards. Now, I think I want some crumbled Oreos on top. Don't you? I knew it. That's why you got the family size pack, right? Right. So, we're gonna grab some out of here. How many? However many you want. And you are gonna crumble them up with your bare hands. You're just gonna, yep. And you're just gonna, oh, look at that. Look at that. You can be as deliberate or as, shall we say, Jackson Pollock, as you want to be with this. I like a generous Oreo crumble. Doesn't that look so pretty? See, you can get as creative as you want. And I'm gonna put these last three in the middle to distract from my asymmetrical whipped cream job. All right, so that is your decorated Oreo mousse pie. It looks amazing. You did such a good job. I'm so proud of you. And if you try this recipe, please, oh please, oh please, oh please take pictures and tag us on social media. All of our little info is in the description box. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to us, and yeah, enjoy your chocolate therapy, and we'll see you next time in the quarantine kitchen.